Okay, so I'm gonna not really do an in-depth dive, but I'm gonna do more of just an explanation of why I think, in my opinion, Black Ops 4 Zombies as a whole failed. I'm gonna go over the mechanics of the game, each map, and everything in between. So, first thing I want to get into is the gameplay and the mechanics. In Black Ops 4, you spawn in with your special weapon, your already overpowered Wraithfires, and you spawn in with a Strife that has a one-hit melee till around, I don't remember, I think it's like 7 or something like that, around 7 or 8, which is overpowered actually in my opinion. And then you you're a one-man army essentially as soon as you spawn in. In different zombies game, and not different, in past zombies games, so like Black Ops 1, spawn in with a pistol and you're a 2-hit down, and without quick revive you're dead. There's no you getting back up without it. Now if you get quick revive, obviously, and Juggernaut and whatnot, there's a slow build up, there's a slow progression of opening doors, building points, opening doors, turn on power, get Juggernaut, quick revive, the perks you want, get a good gun. It's a point gun, you actually get a good gun, you go for the wonder weapon out of the box. Now if you get that wonder weapon out of the box, you then go to Pack-a-Punch to pack your weapons, and you just play after that. There's a progression to it. But in Black Ops 4, there is no progression. There is no, like, the thing in the back of your head of, oh shit, I'm 2-hit, I could go down any second. It's just not like that in BO4. In BO4, you spawn in with pretty much Jug already. You spawn in with where you're a 4-hit down. You spawn in with your special weapon. You spawn in with overpowered Wraithfires, like I said. You spawn in with a Strife that's a fucking like 1-hit melee to like 7 or 8. It's around 7 or 8. Granted, you can challenge yourself by just spawning at the Wellington. Welling? Oh, I remember, it's such a forgettable pistol. The shitty ass pistol became the king of country. It's just, you're extremely broken. You're like a demigod as soon as you spawned in. In past games, you did that build up to become that demigod. Like in Black Ops 3, obviously there's Gobblegums, but in that game with those Gobblegums, you could choose not to use them, obviously. But when you choose to use them, you feel like a demigod, which is completely optional to do. Now, if you don't use them through the map, you still have to do that progression period where you build points, get perks, get Pack-a-Punch, stuff like that. But you have to build the wonder weapons in that game. But the thing that I found that was the best thing for that game was special weapons. You don't just spawn in with a katana or a Ragnarok DG3s or DG4, or you don't just spawn in with the dragon gauntlet from Gorod, or a skull of Non-Sapwa from Zetsubo, or this Popkin sword from Shadows of Evil. You don't just spawn in with that, because if you did, it'd just be broken. There'd be no, like, it'd be dumb. It'd be really stupid and broken. That's the same thing Black Ops 4 suffers from, is that they tried to get rid of crutch perks, but in doing that, they made you overpowered as fuck in the beginning of the game. And with being overpowered, there's just no real want to play that zombies, because there's no progression to that zombies. There's no building points, opening doors, getting the wonder weapon, getting your Pack-a-Punch, getting your perks and stuff like that, the progression. Because you can play the game without the perks and be fine. So I'm going to talk about the perks now. So with the perks, what really flopped about the perks was not the perks themselves, but them removing the core 4 perks and what made them special. Because you would, depending on the map, not depending on the map, but, well, depending on the map and depending on the perks on the map, each map always had the 4 core of Double Tap, Speed Cola, Juggernog, and Quick Revive. They always have the core 4 Every map did, up until Black Ops 4. In Black Ops 4, they got rid of Jug and made you already have a 4-hit down if you just played normal. If you played on normal difficulty, because depending on difficulties, your health would scale. And if you bought all four perks, you get Speed Cola. They entirely remove double tap unless you pack your gun 5 times. Then you get double tap. Quick Revive just became obsolete essentially because you have the self revives in the game. And that Quick Revive basically just became like not even Quick Revive really anymore. It just heals you faster. Stamina Up is, well, still Stamina Up. But they wanted to get rid of those perks to make crutch perks. But in the process, they just made you OP as fuck when you spawn in. So there was really, by trying to fix something that wasn't broken, you created a whole new issue, including all the perks. So with the perks in the game, you have perks that they wanted to get rid of because they didn't want crutch perks, which they end up creating crutch perks in that game. Like, there's a build that everybody will always use, and it always involves Dying Wish. Always does. Because Dying Wish is the perk that just everybody uses. It, when you get hit, it puts you down to 1 health. It gives you a it makes your melee just overpowered pretty much. It one-hits zombies on any round for a few seconds, and it gives you invincibility. It's pretty much just Quick Revive on steroids, essentially. That's all it is. And they also made Stamina Up a crutch perk in that game because the maps are so fucking big that you have to keep running, which I personally found to be really dumb. I don't like how they just got rid of the perks that are like the soul of the game, really. It's also the characters and the maps and stuff, but it's mainly the perks. Like, people know what the perks are. Like, you could show somebody just a picture of a Juggernog machine and tell me, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's the Juggernog machine. Like, they just know because it's from zombies. It's so iconic. And just getting rid of that instantly breaks 3 other things, and they got to try to fix those 3 things they broke. Like, you take out Jug, then how are they gonna have more health? Oh, let's just give them more health when they spawn in. They take out Speed Cola. How are we gonna do that? They gotta buy all 4 perks to have fast reload, which I don't understand why they did that. We take out double tap. Oh, how are we gonna fix double tap? Let's make it so you gotta pack a gun 5 times to get that, which I'll get into that in a moment. And then you have the special weapons. The special weapons, I don't understand them. I don't get them, because you spawn in with a special weapon that at level 1 base level is OP as fuck already. Like, it's already just overpowered. It kills zombies in 1 hit no matter what, unless it's a Scepter of Ra. That actually, it kills zombies no matter what in 1 hit if you melee them. But certain ones have different uses, obviously. Like the Scepter of Ra and the Chaos Story, it revives people. The chakra, you got the chakras, whatever. The Hammer of Valhalla, and you got the that sword and that shotgun thing. For Aether, you have Aether. You have the DG4s. You got that flamethrower. You got a death machine. I don't even know why they made the death machine a special weapon, whatever. And you got Takeo's katana. And holy fuck, that thing is overpowered. There's no reason to run any other special weapon but that. Base level, it's already OP. It one-hits any zombie on any round. Level 2, you get a dashing attack that is OP as hell, and you can just run through a horde with it. Level 3, you get a fucking zombie blood on command. You get on-command zombie blood. That's already OP as shit. There's no point to being that overpowered in the beginning of the game. Like, there is just straight up no point to buying perks in the game, because there's just no reason to. Each player, depending on their play style, is going to run a pack of 4 perks. and that they will never change. But Dying Wish will always be in there because it's like Quick Revive. The players will run, I don't know, Winter's Well, Stamina Up, and Quick Revive alongside Dying Wish. Or, Dying Wish, Stamina Up, if you're into, like, knifing and zombies, Ethereal Razor, and, Electric Cherry, but it's like electric something or other, I don't remember what it's called. But it's Electric Cherry, essentially. And, like, that, it's just depending on the person's playstyle, the perks they're going to use. But in the other games, you had variety of what you wanted to use. You had reasons to use my PhD flopper. It got rid of explosive damage. But in the maps, you weren't limited to 4 machines that can only pick 4 perks. And you had to rely on elixirs to get extra perks. Like in Black Ops 2, for example. I will always say this about Origins, as much as I don't like the map for it being so overrated, it had one of the best ways to get extra perks. Or even Barry did too. In Origins, you had to dig up red dig sites with a golden shovel. It was a whole process to get extra perks, and it was rewarding when you got them. But in Black Ops 4, you just pop 2 elixirs and boom, I got a perkaholic. Black Ops 3 is the exact same way, but you don't have to use Gobblegums to get extra perks. You don't have to. You can if you just want perks off the bat, but you don't have to. Which I don't understand why Black Ops 4 didn't allow you to get extra perks with like side Easter eggs or side quests or whatever. I will not understand, I will still to this day do not understand it. But taking a look back on this game, that came out 2018, fuck, 3 years, almost 3 years later, after its release date, almost 3, wow. The game is just, it should have been one of the best zombies games. It really should have. But all the flawed mechanics, the flawed maps, the way they ended Ether, and the chaos story did not make that game good. It should have been the best zombies game ever. Because 4 zombies maps on release. That's the most we've ever had. That is the most zombies maps we've ever had. In any game, we've only ever had 2 maps. The release map that's on disc of, let's say, BO3, you had Shadows of Evil. And then the pre-order map, which was the Giant. Or with Black Ops 1, you had Killer Toten, and you had 5. Black Ops 2, granted, you had Green Run in itself, which was Transit, and then you had Buzz Depot, Farm and Town. And later on the Die Rise DLC, you had Turned, which was the diner. But with that, you had all this stuff there. But BO4 was the biggest zombies content launch ever. 4 maps on release. Classified, Blood of the Dead, 9, and Voyage of Despair. Voyage of Despair is one of the just downright worst maps to have ever been made. Genuinely worst maps ever. It is horrible. I don't like the map. The Easter egg is just stupidly tedious. It feels like a chore to do in that game. I don't like it overall. I really don't. It's just a straight up chore to do and I cannot stand it. 9's Easter egg. Fairly simple. Not that complicated. A good map. Don't get me wrong, one of the better maps come out of that game. But not like a top 10 or top 5 as people put it up there. I don't know why people hold that map in such regard, but whatever. And then you have Blood of the Dead and Classified. Classified is a 5 remaster. It's not a reimagine, it's just a remaster, essentially. They just threw Area 51 on top of it because, hey, wouldn't this be cool, essentially? And then you have Blood of the Dead, which is a full-on reimagining of Mob of the Dead. It is what it is, the game, everything, it's horrible because halfway through development, they had a campaign for that game originally. But Activision straight up said, scrap it. I want a battle royale in that game. And they can't say no to Activision because Activision's Activision. So they're like, okay, I guess we have to do this. And they scrapped their whole campaign and they put a battle royale in their game. Which Blackout no. All right. It was just a whole lot of no. And then you have the thing of there is rumors going around that there is supposed to be an Aether Pass and a Chaos Pass. Where there was one pass with 4 maps. It was supposed to be Chaos maps, and another pass was supposed to be 4 Aether maps. And then there was supposed to be a Zombies Chronicles 2 to release with all the Victus maps. Which that didn't get released with it. Which that would have made that game still just boom like crazy if that was released with the Chronicles 2. And if they did both passes, that would have boomed too. But they weren't able to because Sledgehammer and Raven were not in agreement. They could not agree on how to make fucking 2020's Call of Duty, my bad, 2020's Call of Duty, which ended up being Cold War. They couldn't fucking agree on the game, so Activision said to Treyarch, you're gonna be thrown on the game and you're gonna make it. Like, you're gonna finish the game, you're gonna finish development. So they had to take most of their development time and throw that on the fucking Cold War. And you can see how much of a dumpster fire that game turned out to. But they had to throw the majority of their time onto Cold War, which fucked over BO4 ultimately, in the sense of they weren't able to do what they had imagined and what they planned on doing. Which also fucked the game over. But you also, with the Chaos maps, you have so much shit going on the Chaos maps. Like, let's go with one of my personal favorite maps, Dead of the Night. I know I'm gonna get crucified for that, but it's a top 5 map for me. In it, you have Nosferatus, you have werewolves, you got normal zombies, and you got catalysts. And it's not just catalysts as in, it's a one zombie. No, you got 4 types of catalysts. You got water, electric, fire, and you got poison. That's not fun. And then, if you want to upgrade the one weapon in that map, you have to do a certain step, which then releases these red Nosferatus, which are even more of a pain in the ass to deal with. Which, that's not fun. Nosferatus aren't fun. There's so much shit going on that map that's hard to have fun on the map. Which, I enjoy the map personally, I do. Because I don't find it fairly annoying. I find it more of like, why? Is morally what I do when I play that map. I question it. I play for the Easter egg. I don't play for high rounds because I enjoy the Easter egg on that map actually. But also, BO4 was just a collectathon too. There was so much shit to collect in that game that there was, to me, it was just annoying to play that and do a collectathon. It was Origins, but just bumped up to 20. Because like Dead of the Night, you have you have 3 silver pieces to collect for silver bullets. You got to memorize all 3 spawns for each pieces, and then you have to memorize the spawn for the charcoal. Can't believe this too. The bat turds and the sulfur, I think it was, all to make the gunpowder to go into the silver, which to me is stupid because that's 18 locations already got to memorize just for silver bullets. And then there's other locations for the symbols, for the Easter egg, for the side Easter egg for the free wonder weapon. And then there's 3 crystals you're supposed to fill up with souls around the map. There's 3 locations for those, which is not fairly hard to find, but just very annoying. And then there's 3 locations for each shield piece. And then there's just so many things to find on that map. It's such a collectathon. And I will keep referencing that map because that's the main map that I can make a big example out of. But Blood of the Dead didn't do a collectathon. It was just an annoying, tedious Easter egg. It felt like a chore. Same with Voyage. 9 wasn't a collectathon either. It wasn't a collectathon. It didn't have a tedious egg. It was a perfectly balanced map. Classified was just a high rounding map. It wasn't no Easter egg. Had a fairly decent winter weapon. Thank God they buffed the Winter's Howl. Black Ops 1, it was utter dog shit. But it wasn't a map built with an Easter egg. It was a side Easter egg to get a free winter weapon, and that was pretty much the Easter egg. And then the first DLC that launched was Dead of the Night. But Dead of the Night has such a horrible, like, advertising essentially for it. It was just bad. It was horrible. They didn't advertise the map. Honestly, I didn't even know the map released, because usually they advertise the map, advertising the release date and shit, so you know when it drops. I didn't even know the map dropped when it did. I stumbled across Milo's stream and I was like, oh shit, it dropped. Huh, look at that. Like, I didn't even know it dropped at all. And then the whole drama with that fucking map and the Easter egg hunt and shit, I'm like, really? Really? This drama over an Easter egg hunt? But, whatever. And the second map to be released was Ancient Evil, if I remember that correctly. Yes. Ancient Evil was, I think, the second map. Or... was that second? Yeah, that was second map. One of the better maps that come out of that game, too. Just like 9. Don't get me wrong. But they're not good maps, as in, I would say, yeah, they got replayability. They don't. None of that game is replayable. There's not a lot of replayability to Black Ops 4. Ancient Evil, 4 gauntlets. Sorry. Four gauntlets. And there's locations to find each handle for the gauntlets, which that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. There's other things to collect around the map. It's just a collectathon, but not as bad as a collectathon as Dead in the Night. Dead in the Night is a perfect example of how too much collecting ruins a map. A perfect example of it is Dead in the Night, honestly. And then you add Alpha Omega. Just a shit map overall. The Easter egg's so fucking easy. Like, really easy. A fucking toddler could do it. The Nova Crawlers were really annoying on there, especially the ones that could buff the zombies. Like, why? And then you had the Nova Crawlers that could shoot lightning balls at you. Okay. And then once again, they reused a fucking wonder weapon. They reused it. The Mark IIs. We seen the Mark II. We saw it. We played with it all through BO2. Played with it in Chronicles and Black Ops 3. And after Alpha Omega, we played through it with it in every map in Black Ops 4. That was not Chaos. And it was with elemental upgrades. Ooh, fucking big change. Not really, no. You had a full auto Mark II, which when packed became akimbo. You had a shotgun type Mark II, an explosive type of Mark II. And you had an electric, like a beam Mark II. Which I can see, now I can see where they got the Die Shockwave upgrade from. Alright. So you got that. And now, sorry, I gotta remember all this because this map is very forgettable. I don't remember the story really with the map. Some shit about getting an ancient something about getting like a shard, something like that. It's very unforgettable to me. And then you have Tog der Toten. It's not a bad remake. I mean, shit, it ain't good either. But I just didn't care for the map. When it released, I was like, okay, it's there. I did it. I did the Easter egg for the map. And when I was going through the Easter egg, and don't get me wrong, I got emotional because I've been invested in the zombies community for pretty much ever since I could pick up a controller. One of my first games I ever played was Black Ops Zombies. So it's just one of the first things I ever played. But obviously I got emotional, but after I re-watched it again on YouTube, it pissed me off morally. Because they did a comic book style ending. Because their budget was cut because of Cold War. If they didn't have budget cuts, that game could have been so much better. It could have been genuinely the greatest zombies game ever made. But it never had its time to shine. It never had its moment to be a good game. And it was supposed to be supported for like 2 or 3 years, like how Black Ops 3 was. Black Ops 3 is a great example of how to do a video game correctly. Except for the campaign. Campaign was shit. Great multiplayer. Excellent multiplayer in my opinion. Like top 3 multiplayers for me. Zombies. One of the best zombies I've ever played is Black Ops 3. Because you had 4 incredible DLC maps. 2 incredible launch maps. And you had Chronicles. 8 remastered maps that have never been remastered except for Rooked, Shionuma, and Noct. Those 3 maps obviously are remastered, but other than that, maps that have never been remastered coming back just was amazing. Origins looked fantastic. Alright, as much as I don't like it, it looked phenomenal in BO3. But BO3 is an example of how to do collectathon type maps correctly, because it's fun to do those maps in that game. By building the lightning bow, it's easy as shit, but it's fun. Getting the Ragnaroks, collecting that, so good. Ragnaroks, not Ragnaroks. Ragnaroks. That was fun to go collect those. Kill the Panzer, do the Flinger, and do the rocket. And you got the Ragnaroks. One of the best specialist weapons in my opinion in that game. Zetsubo is hated on, and I don't get it. It's beautiful. I love the map. But the map is a collectathon, and the Easter egg's tedious. I will admit to that. The Easter egg is very tedious, very annoying. It feels like a chore. But like, it's just that game is the example of how to do it correctly. And also, I do microtransactions correctly. Because you can grind out Divinium through the game and earn your Gobblegums like I did. I never once bought any Divinium in that game. I never did, and I never have, and I never will. BO4, I never bought Nebulium Plasma. I don't know why they changed it from Divinium to Nebulium Plasma. I don't know why they couldn't have just kept Elixirs and Gobblegums separate from each other, but okay. Like, I get why they did the Elixirs and the Nebulium Plasma. They did it for Chaos. But have a whole separate thing for Chaos would have been cool. Like, you could choose between Chaos Story and Ether Story type, like, menus. That would have been actually really sick. Like, a whole different menu for Chaos, a whole different menu for Ether. That would have been actually really cool. But, and, like, have a whole different menu and a whole different, like, place to make the Elixirs for Chaos, and then to get the Divinium and the Gobblegums for Ether. That would have been actually really fucking cool in my opinion. But they didn't do that, which I don't understand. But whatever. It is what it is. And then they go and they take what was bad about BO3 and expanded upon that. Like, they tried to fix shit that wasn't broken. Perks? It's not broken. Let's fix it. No need to. Like, at all. Overall gameplay? Oh, it's not broken? Let's fix it. Again, don't get why they did that. They also went and really just made a mockery of zombies is how I felt in that game. That game, I felt, made a mockery of zombies and a mockery of the community for that ending cutscene. Like, it was horrible. All their budget literally went to Chaos. They put their budget into Chaos and not the fucking Ether storyline. And I didn't understand. Was BO4 a game with an Ether main story and a Chaos side story, or Chaos main story with the Ether side story? I didn't get that. And I couldn't get invested in Chaos because I had no real reason to. Like, I had no reason to be interested in the characters. I just felt like they were a carbon copy of Ether. It's just they didn't look like them, is it. Like, Bruno's just a big brute. That's Nikolai. Shaw is the mad scientist type dude, like how Richtofen was. Diego is the smart mouth fucking smartass, essentially, like how Dempsey was. And Scarlet is supposed to be like the wise person, like how Takia was originally, but it's not anymore. It just felt like they did a carbon copy of the group just to make a little bit more money off, is how it felt. The game was a cash grab, but I don't think it was originally intended to be. I just feel like overall that game if no other zombies games entirely are made, like if Black Ops 1, 2, 3, and even World at War was never made or never had zombies in it, and this is the first game to have zombies, it'd be good. It would. But since we've had everything before it, and BO3, that game, I will say, when you make such a good game, you set the bar so high for yourself that it is hard to top that. A great example of that is Grand Theft Auto 5. Rockstar made GTA 4 and set the bar pretty high for people. And they came out with Grand Theft Auto 5. Blew everybody out of the water, all their expectations out of the water. Made that game so great over the years. They've obviously ported it to the PS4 and now the 5. It's getting a port. Grand Theft Auto Online has had updates and updates and updates to make it so good. They set the bar so high for themselves that when Grand Theft Auto 6 gets released, even if they're working on it, that game is going to be a disappointment. It will, because of the bar was set so high. It's the same thing they did with Black Ops 3. They set the bar so high for themselves with that game that when Black Ops 4 was Black Ops 4 was, I won't say disappointment, I was about to say disappointment. It wasn't a disappointment, it was morely of the bar was so high that was almost really hard to meet. Because the game was still being supported, still being updated, had community contracts, had Chronicles, had free weapon skins they gave you because of the Chronicles release. They gave you free Divinium for the Chronicles release. And I think if you bought Chronicles, you got a little more extra shit too. But the game overall benefited from Chronicles. It was the highest selling DLC of any Call of Duty to ever be released. And that to me proves what love and dedication to a game can really do. I love the way they reviewed Chronicles too. How Blundell was on JC Backfire's stream and just unzipped his jacket and was like, yeah, we got something to talk about. I loved that. But it was just overall, if they had the proper time to develop it and they didn't release it in October to compete with Battlefield, that was also the dumbest fucking thing they could do because it was so unfinished. So many blue screens, so much shit that went wrong with that game that drove the player base away in the beginning. There are so many blue screens for all the high rounders. People, not even on high rounds, 5 minutes in, blue screen. I played a game till round 5. I got a fucking blue screen. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Oh, blue screen. On round 5. I just loaded into a zombies game. I was still in the cutscene, like the intro cutscene. And I got blue screened. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how that could even happen in the intro cutscene, of all things. And then it was very unstable. It was very unstable in the beginning. Like very. The game just couldn't ever run properly. I had frame drops a lot. Like my frames would drop. I play PS4, so it's probably why, but my frames dropped hard sometimes in that game. Also in that game, like I said already, the budget. Oh man, that budget. If they had a bigger budget, I'm pretty sure it would have been better, but they didn't. And the ending for TOG, it pretty much it concluded the zombie storyline for Ether, which led into the Dark Ether storyline, but it concluded the Ether storyline, which I wasn't satisfied with that ending at all. I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, it got me emotional. It really did. I wasn't satisfied with it because it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a storyline to conclude in a way that was satisfying, that was like a way where it was, acceptable. I wanted to see the Great War as a map, but we didn't get that. We didn't get what we wanted, obviously. I don't think it was possible to make a Great War map. I don't think it was, because I don't think you could properly capture the Great War and how epic it's described to be in the Chronorium, and how big of a battle it's described to be. I don't think you could truly capture the epicness of it, I'd say. I haven't used that word epic in a while, but how epic it's supposed to be described, how awesome it's described. I don't think you can capture that in a zombies map. I don't think you can. And maybe it's a good thing they didn't do the Great War as a map. Maybe it's a genuinely good thing. Maybe it is. But my final thoughts on the game is, if they did a little more development with it, it did a little more everything to the game, gave it a little more TLC, I think the game could have came out better. If the game released as what they imagined it to be, then it would have been one of the best zombies game to be released. But unfortunately, they just couldn't do it. Chronicles 2 right now is actually made. It's made and it's just sitting on the shelf, along with MW2 Remastered Multiplayer. That's sitting on the shelf right next to it. But Chronicles 2 is just sitting on the shelf, waiting for the date for it to be dusted off and released. It's just sitting on the shelf waiting. And until that day, and hopingly they either release it into Cold War, or the next Treyarch title gets it. Yeah, excuse me. But that's it. That's all I have to say on the game, really. This is my first video back to this channel. Haven't uploaded here in a while. Because I never really cared for it, but this is the first time I'm doing something like this. It's gonna be a long ass video. Longest video to edit. Also, I'm probably just gonna leave it the way it is, because it's gonna be like a 30-minute video. 40-minute maybe. But yeah. I'm tired. Thank you for watching. If you watched to the end of this video, and thank you. I appreciate it. I might do more content like this. I'm not very sure. But if you want to see more content like this and me reviewing games, stuff like that, subscribe, leave a like, follow my Twitter, follow my Twitch. Also, go follow my friend's Twitch, Cry Was Here. And yeah, thank you for watching, honestly. It means a lot. And I will probably not make another video on this channel. I don't know. But thank you.